Diva and the queen of New Jack Swing, Karen White. She's up next. Because when I think about your loving, then I get a good beat. I get excited from the feeling that is given to me. So won't you keep it coming, baby? Because I love the joy you bring. I, I, I love Karen White. Let's talk. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to my show, my channel, Pepe's Point of View, and I am your host, your R&B historian, Pepe. And let's talk Karen White. Oh gosh, the queen of New Jack Swing. Now, why do I call her that? Well, it's not a title that I came up with. Actually, one day I was scrolling down my social media news feed, and Karen White's another page, of course, pops up, and there's Karen White, and it's titled "The Queen of New Jack Swing." I was like, I never thought about it that way. I think you're on to something. I really do think we're not stretching it. I think she is the queen of New Jack Swing. We're talking about, of course, Karen White. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Karen White. She is the queen of New Jack Swing. And I'm going to agree with that. All right. Well, I know I haven't posted videos in a while. I'm trying to get around to catching up on a few things. And if you actually are one of the subscribers or viewers or what have you that actually, look over on my community tab or community page on this channel, then you probably are aware that maybe back in March, I actually posted that I was going to be reviewing Karen White. And I did. I just never got around to uploading a video until now. So yes, I'm going way back to, pull out some R&B divas that I've been meaning to, discuss. There you have it, Karen White. Do I have a Karen White story? Of course I do. I think I could have been maybe in the 4th or 5th grade, and I remember having a Friday special, okay? Attending a Friday special, of course, at the end of the week, they do, things at schools, and my school was doing a Friday special. And I can't remember. I think it was a sock hop. I think it was. But anywho, I remember Karen White being played, okay? And somehow or another, I came across a female classmate. And there we were just sitting around talking. And of course, I'm pretty sure I'm the one that brought the conversation up about the music. And, somehow or another, we were talking about Karen White, okay, because her CD was being played. Karen White's CD was being played. Long story short, she says, "That's my CD." I thought it was so cool that she actually had a CD. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my gosh, like that, sure. Was it a CD or cassette? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I thought it was cool that she actually had the album, right? And we were actually listening to Secret Rendezvous. That's right. Secret Rendezvous was a song that were actually being played. And I was like, oh, wow. I thought she was so cool that she actually had Karen White's record and it was being played. And well, what do I think about Karen White? What comes to mind when I think about Karen White? Well, way back in an interview, it was years ago, I recall Karen White mentioning, and I pretty much think that I'm correct about this, is that Karen White said she doesn't care too much for female singers. I was like, what? I was like, okay, that's interesting. Well, no, that's not what you're thinking. I mean, she doesn't care too much to listen to female singers. Like it's not her thing. Like she'd rather listen to male singers. I was like, wow, because she wanted to sound like one of the guys. So when I recall her saying that, and here I am, in my mind, like I'm thinking, like, how do I want to approach Karen White? And I think I want to approach her in that sense as well, because when I started to think about Karen White's sound, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, yeah, if you really and truly think about it, Karen White is not one of those where she's a cute diva. You understand what I'm saying? A nice looking, diva. But when it comes to her sound, there's nothing cute about it at all. She's actually pretty rough. You know what I'm saying? Like she's rough and she's tough with it. Um, and then I started to think about, well, who does she sound like? Who can I say that these two divas or this diva and Karen White have similar sounds? And then I thought about it. Like you could disagree with me, and if you do, that's fine. Leave a comment and let me know. But I was like, why did Joyce Irby of Climax come to my head? So I was like, okay, I can kind of see that Joyce Irby and Karen White has a similar sound. Joyce probably not as rough and tough. It can be, but hers is very soft spoken, Joyce Irby, kind of like the Michael Jackson sound. Um, so I thought about Joyce Irby. I don't know why I was trying to go over to Tina Turner. I know what you guys saying, like, really, Tina Turner, listen to how I'm trying to describe it. Um, because the tones are similar to me with Karen White and Joyce Irby. You might can get away with her sounding like Phyllis Hyman a little bit when you think about it, but Phyllis Hyman has more depth, like she's deep, with it. Who else do I think that she has a similar sound to? But anyway, so that's what was coming to my mind when I was thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I think, I don't think anything cute about her sound. I'm talking about her vocal, sound. I don't think there's anything cute. I think that she's actually really, from my understanding, this is her last album. Um, yeah. And here's another tidbit about Karen White that I'm telling off on myself. Her first single, the one that I know from a Jeff Lober, and here I am all of these years, like not now, I know better now, but in the past when the song first came out, somebody please tell me why I was singing The Facts of Life. Like I'm thinking this song is titled The Facts of Life, right? And it wasn't until there I am singing a song, and of course I find out the song is The Facts of Love. I was like, what? Well, I think that this is a good place to really have this discussion about Karen White with that song. Now, if you watched my video on Shirley Murdoch, then you probably will understand what I am about to say about Karen White. What I so love about this first full-length album with Karen White, her self-titled album, 1988 album, what I love most about it is that it seems like, for whatever reason, when Warner Brothers approached her about doing a solo album and teaming her up with L.A. Reid and Babyface, I don't know, and this is going to be the question that I will have to ask L.A. Reid and Babyface, or even Karen White, and I have to ask them. Obviously, somebody somewhere decided that she needed to have a particular sound, and it looks as if the sound that L.A. Reid and Babyface developed for Karen White was also based off that her first hit single, Facts of Love. Don't you think? Right? I know L.A. Reid and Babyface have a sound, in Daryl Simmons. They all have a sound, but at the same time, I'm wondering, did they say, okay, well, Facts of Love, you already have a hit with that song. So let's kind of keep you in that, you know, keep you with that sound. Now, why did I bring up Shirley Murdock? Because Shirley Murdock is an R&B diva, I said, that started out with the sound. And what I'm kind of gathering as I look at these two divas, Karen White and Shirley Murdock, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, there it is. Like, why abandon the sound? Now, it's different with Shirley Murdock because Shirley Murdock had her producers, Roger Troutman, right? Gap. Oh gosh, I know I'm a little bit tired, but Zapp and Rogers. She had Zapp and Rogers, so she had the Zapp and Rogers sound. Shirley Murdock did, so she really didn't abandon. Not a good probably word choice, but she probably abandoned the sound, or they probably abandoned the sound, but they didn't go their separate ways. But it's not the same with Karen White, because what we discovered with Karen White's career is that Karen White, even though it starts out with L.A. Reid and Babyface, it didn't end up that way. And so each album that we get from Karen White, we get a new sound, which for some R&B divas, that's okay, right? We go along for the ride, we embrace it. But what I'm finding with Karen White for myself is that I just become kind of disinterested in Karen White catalog with each album, right? Not Karen White, the diva, but Karen White, the catalog. Now, why is that? Well, I recall, and I think I could be wrong. There is a YouTuber. I'm not quite sure the name, but I think I'm subscribed to his page. I think it's called Halftime Chat. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, he covers a lot of R&B artists as well. And I remember him interviewing Karen White. Now, if it's a lie, it's out there. Apparently, from the discussion that he had with Karen White, is basically L.A. Reid and Babyface was actually set to work with Karen White on her second album. See, y'all making me tired already, so I got to say allegedly, because I don't know if this is true. They were just actually discussing it, so it's not like, it's some truth in it. But, she said no, like that didn't happen. But apparently, what happened is that L.A. Reid and Pebbles. Do I have my Pebbles? Reckon I know I got Pebbles over here. But L.A. Reid and Pebbles actually showed up over to an event that Karen White and I think Benny Medina, like a party or something, like they were there. And so L.A. Reid shows up with Pebbles. And allegedly, this is not true, but it's alleged. As I said, Karen White said, no, that didn't happen. But allegedly, well, let's just say Benny Medina was not too thrilled about it. He was like, what is Pebbles doing here? Okay, I mean, that's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, allegedly, that's what happened. Like, what is Pebbles doing here? Like, L.A. Reid, why are you bringing Pebbles? Like, why are you bringing Pebbles? Hi, L.A. Reid, why are you bringing Pebbles over? And it was like, what she's doing here, so to speak. And I guess at the time, if you think about it, I guess, they was trying to keep the divas separate. You know what I mean? Like competition is what I'm saying. It's like, why are you bringing the competition into this room? So apparently, L.A. Reid is like, well, if she go, I go. He was like, okay. And so they both went, right? And it is what it is. And that's why you didn't get a repeat with L.A. Reid and Babyface for her follow-up album. And there you have it. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis comes in to do her second album, Ritual of Love. Again, L.A. Reid and Babyface and Daryl Simmons, they have a sound. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they have a sound, the Minneapolis sound. And so it was just different to me. So let's dive right into this and let's talk about, Karen White and how she's off to a good beat. And the first album, it's just a good album. And before we talk about the album, what I want to do is, and y'all might disagree with me, but let me know if you disagree. If Bobby Brown is the king of New Jack Swing, or we could say king of R&B, but definitely the king of New Jack Swing, and Karen White is the queen of New Jack Swing, then I have a question. Well, what's the question? With as many albums as Bobby Brown sold, and as many hits, and as long as these singles stayed on the chart, and some of them number one, and this album is only platinum. Now, according to the sources that I, was able to, look at, because I'm still trying to say, like, wait a minute, how many albums did this Karen White's debut album end up selling? Like now, how many albums is it? Because I don't know, Karen White. If they're telling you this album just went platinum, girl, child, you need to audit somebody's books. You know what I'm saying? Child, you need to do an audit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Woo! All right, moving on from that. So let's just go ahead on, if you will, and let's just talk about Karen White. So Karen White is a debut album by American R&B singer Karen White, of course. The album was released September the 6th, 1988 by Warner Brothers, and it went to number one on the R&B charts for, get this, 7 weeks the following year. So how is an album number one for 7 weeks and it's only platinum? So the album was certified platinum in April, by April the 4th, 1989. It gave her 4 hits: The Way You Love Me, Superwoman, Love Song, and Secret Rendezvous. The former 3 went number one on the R&B charts, except for Love Song, which went to, the top 10 on the Hot 100. But anyway, so there you have it. As I said, this album was pretty much all over the place. And when I think about the Karen White video, when I think about the video, The Way You Love Me, I'm thinking about similar R&B divas at the time in their videos. Like if you recall, and you can go out and you can check these videos out for yourself. But I think that there's some similarities in Vanessa Williams' The Right Stuff video with Karen White, The Way You Love Me video. I'm thinking about Angela Winbush's The Real Thing video. Just check those videos out for yourself and kind of see some of the similarities that was going on with the R&B divas back in the day. And I'm not going to tell you what some of the similarities are. Just look at those videos, the great songs. And you know what? Hey, it's a good way for you to go back, way back into time and get some good hits in there, of course. But the Way You Love Me, I mean, I think it was just a really good song. It had a great sound to it. And of course, why not keep the beat going with a song like The Facts of Love? Karen White already has an audience. So why would we want to abandon that audience? It seems like it works for her with Jeff Lober, and it's also going to work with her possibly, teaming up with L.A. Reid and Babyface, and they do a great job with it. I mean, this album, it's R&B, but I think that it's a lot of pop in it as well. And as I said before, it works for her. You have to excuse me while I'm closing my eyes because I'm trying to stay in my thought process. Sometimes some of these things I don't always have written down. But as I said, it's a good feel-good song. It's a dance song. But as I said before, when it comes to other R&B divas of that time, and of course working with L.A. Reid and Babyface and Daryl Simmons. What you get here with The Way You Love Me is that I'm thinking about songs such as Rock Steady by The Whispers, Knocked Out by Paula Abdul. Yes, I think I even got Paula Abdul over here. Not The Whispers. I don't have The Whispers, but I have Paula Abdul over here. And when I'm thinking about Knocked Out, um, that sound is similar. It seems like they kept the same track and updated a little bit. So again, The Way You Love Me is just a real good feel good song. I do love, again, that the hook, cause when I think about you're loving that, then I get a good beat. I get excited from the feeling that is given to me. So won't you keep it coming, baby? Because I love the joy you bring. I love when I think about that. They obviously not Jimmy Jam, but L.A. Reid and Babyface kept that going with Whitney Houston. I'm your baby tonight. So I think that it was just a real good, like I said, feel good song, and it has some similarities with other R&B divas. Now I don't know about you guys, but when I listen to Secret Rendezvous, I think about Jody Watley for whatever reason. I don't know. Jody Watley just came to my mind. When I'm looking at the video, I can say, okay, you're getting your Jody Watley on. And what I said previously about Karen White being obviously a cute, attractive R&B diva, but she had like this soft voice, but it was still kind of rough because she wanted to sound like the guys. But also too, I love the dancing and the choreography in the Secret Rendezvous video. I do. I really thought when you look at it now, you go like, okay, all right, Karen, we see you. But back then, growing up for me, I was like, Karen White is getting down. You know what I'm saying? Like I just love it. It very ladylike, very feminine. Uh, uh, it's risque, you know what I'm saying, in the way she's dressed, but she's not overly sexy. What I like about it, but at the same time, it's sexy, but just not overly sexy, is what I like about the Secret Rendezvous video. And at this moment in time, I have to really tell you that Secret Rendezvous is one of my all-time favorite songs by her. But I'm also surprised after listening to her catalog, her entire catalog. I'm surprised about the song that I actually like out of all of her songs. We'll talk about that as well. And then you get to Slow Down. And Slow Down is just a good ballad. It's definitely in the face in the L.A. Reid sound or in their style. I like the song a lot. And one thing that I will say about this album with Karen White, this album is definitely one of those albums where you hit the play button and you don't touch anything. Like you're not skipping a song on the Karen White's self-titled album. At least for me, I'm not. As a matter of fact, I at least find myself probably, hitting the repeat button to hear another song before I go hear a song again before I go to the next song. Is what I like about it as well. And then you have Superwoman. Oh my gosh. Which to me is kind of like a female anthem, just like Sure Pepsi Riley with Thanks for My Child. I have a Sure Pepsi Riley video that I did as well. So, check that one out as well. But this is why I'm saying like this album has to have so more than 1 million copies. It's just no way in the world. And I never thought about this until listening to the album again. Listen to Superwoman and you tell me if this is not the end of the road, okay? If this is not the end of the road, it's definitely the end of the road as far as I'm concerned when it comes to Karen White. I'm sorry about that, you guys. Something happened. And let me see if I can fix it. Fix it. I'm sorry. Can I? I don't know what's going on. Something happened. Something that kind of faded out. Oh well. But anyway, sorry about that. Hopefully it'll pop back up. But yes. But listen to End of the Road by Boyz II Men and Superwoman by Karen White. And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this here is definitely the end of the road. And as I said, but now, think about how times have changed from Superwoman by Karen White, Thanks for My Child, and now we get WAP. Do you see? I'm just saying. And so, as the album, by the time you get to what we would call the middle of the album, songs like Family Man, Love Saw It, Don't Mess With Me, Tell Me Tomorrow, and One Wish, I don't think the album is losing its punch, if you will. I don't think that. The songs on the album are still good. And definitely what I get with the song like Family Man is that this is funk to me. Like somebody else might not agree with it, with my take on Family Man being a funk type song, but I'm definitely saying this is the funk, and I'm not thinking that this is a Babyface song. When I hear a song like Family Man, Babyface just doesn't come to mind. And so I was like, I like this for Babyface. And typical of the time, you definitely love to have a Babyface and a Diva duet. I'm still, by the way, trying to get to listening to the new Divas that Babyface have, recorded an album with, but I promise you, I just can't get past it. I'm still in the middle of that album. I'm like, I can't do this. But with with Babyface and Karen White, Love Saw It with Babyface and Pebbles, love makes things happen. Like I'll just love to get a duet with Babyface and an R&B diva, and of course Toni Braxton and Babyface with "Give You My Heart." Great. So as I said, the album is definitely not losing its flavor. It's not losing its punch. But here's the thing now that I think about what I mentioned in previously as I'm about to wrap this first album up. What I'm getting from Bobby Brown being called the king of R&B, or you can call him the king for sure of New Jack Swing, right? And how big this album is. And then when I think about Karen White and her album being her songs being as big and popular as they were, I thought about it. Now, it just came to my mind. Marketing, right? Marketing. Like you can see, with Bobby Brown's image at the time and all of the things that was going on, like he's definitely out there, in these entertainment streets, literally and figuratively speaking. And I guess as you can see, Karen White just really probably wasn't marketed that way. Maybe she did have success on the pop charts, of course. But at the same time, from marketing, from people being out there, from people seeing her, for her just being all over the place, maybe that just wasn't the case. Bobby Brown, persona, is larger than life. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know, you tell me, but at the end of the day, with all these hit songs and the album was #1 for 7 weeks and it's platinum. Yeah, y'all know what I'm saying. But anyway, I think I'm gonna stop here. And I'm going to do a part 2 with Karen White, with her next video. I mean, with her next album, and I'm going to probably combine the two together. Okay. So for the most part, all I can say is for this video, we're going to just simply say Karen White R&B diva. She's off. She's off. On a good beat. She got her good beat going on. So can she keep the beat going? Does the beat go on for her? You understand what I'm saying? Who knows? Well, if you stuck around this long, then I think it's appropriate for me to ask you, you know what? Hey, hang out with me. Hit that subscribe button, the like button, the share button, all of those things. Leave comments. I welcome that as well. And my motto over here is simple. Put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. I look forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you guys know what to do. Take care of yourselves now. All right.